Hello there and welcome to the new Tableau tutorial. And in this Tableau tutorial, we will going to look at the Tableau story here. And Tableau story, if you are already aware about what Tableau story is, then there is no need for explaining to you. But those who don't know, it is an interesting way to figure out a specific scenario or a specific problem, look a little bit in depth into it by grilling the data and trying to figure out some directions or some sort of answer, or maybe the direction of the answer, to basically better understand the data driven either the decision making or figuring out the direction from that data. So in this Tableau story, we will start with the example where, let's say, you or your company is looking to make an investment into an area of application development, and your company or you is trying to figure out where you should invest. What are the areas where there are more users present, more installations present, people are paying, or there are free apps. All that sort of fact finding you may want to do before making a decision. And for that, let's say you got or you scrapped the data from the Google Play Store about various applications that has been installed by the users, and you are looking for information around that area, like what has been the most installed application, or what has been the those categories where people are using a lot of applications, where they are giving a lot of reviews and things like that, and then trying to make a decision based on that, or trying to find a direction based on that. So as you could see that I'm saying that direction and decision a lot, because sometimes it is a direction what we needed to make a decision, or sometimes if it is like really apparent from the data because there is a high quality data, you can jump on the decision. But that's not an easy process, so let's keep this direction as the most realistic thing which either the management or we look for anything from the data driven outcome. So with that, let's start making a story within the Tableau based on this application data that has been scrapped from the Google Play Store. So let's get started. Alright, so here we have the data set where at the first column you have the application, then its category. Down there you have the genre, which is also a subcategory from the main category. As you could see that art and design is the main category for this row, and art and design, pretend play, creativity, action and adventure, sort of a second category which has been given here. Then you have ratings, the ratings which has been given, the reviews that is been given, size. Again, if you see, it's the custom value or the rounded or maybe short value, which is 19 million, and sometimes it is in 1000, and in some cases it varies with the device as well. Then how many installs that has been happened for this particular application, so 10,000 plus, 500,000 plus, so on and so forth. And then whether it is free or paid, or data is missing. Then you have the price information, what the price of the app is. 0 will be for those cases where either not available or it is free. Then you have the content, whether it is an adult content, everyone 10 plus, so on and so forth. Genre I've already told you. Then you have the last updated column, when the application was last updated. As you could see, it has a lot of those applications which has not been updated. So maybe, as we were thinking about the decision, we may probably see only that application which, let's say, last updated in the 2018, those scenarios. So that's sort of a parameters we need to figure it out. Also some other parameters like how many installs that has happened. So for example, we are only looking at those applications where, let's say, 100,000 applications have been installed, or 1 million application, or maybe 500,000 applications, so on and so forth. So those sort of parameters we will going to apply. And then you have two variables for current version and Android version. So current version is related to the version of the application, and the Android version is the Android version in which this application is running. Alright, so once we have this data, we can go into the Tableau and we will start creating the story. So let's go ahead. Alright, so here we are within the Tableau, and I'll click on the Microsoft Excel and double click on the Google Play Store. This will give us the data over here. So the condition, as I was referring to, let's make those condition and then move ahead. So let's say for our scenario, we are looking for those applications which has the reviews as maybe a little bit above the threshold, maybe 5,000 reviews or 10,000 reviews, at least those views. So based on how critical or how much investment we have, we will going to do that. So for example, if our budget is huge, let's say we have got like $1 million as the budget to invest it, then probably we will going to definitely look at those application which has more than 10,000 reviews or more than 50,000 reviews, because what we are targeting is the premium section. But if our budget is low, then probably we will look at those applications which is probably in 500 to 1000 reviews or 500 to 5000 reviews, so on and so forth. So based on that, it basically gives us, the threshold that usually the business applies. So for our case, let's say we want to choose the 5,000 as the threshold. So those application where we have the reviews more than 5,000, and let's say another is the Android version which is 5 or more than that. So for that, we will click on the add filter, click add filter, and let's take the reviews. So where is the review? Here we go. And then we will say at least, and within the at least we will say 5,000 and click OK. And we will add one more, and then Android version, click OK. We have to do some selection here. This. So this is something which can be further improved by doing some data massaging, and that way, we should have just one selection or two selection or maybe 3 or 4 selection, but not like these 8 or 10 different selections. So we'll click OK and click OK. So now you see we have got 312 rows from close to 10,000 rows, and that's the benefit we get, because if the data is small, the analysis will be faster and relevant to what we need, right? And that is also another way of making your application faster. So that can be an interview question as to what approaches you are going to take to make your application faster. And that's one of the basic thing, is to reduce the data and remove the columns which is of no use, because the lesser the data, the Tableau engine will going to work faster on your data set. So let's move on to the sheet 1 and try to create the visualization for the story. So the first question can be which category has the highest number of installation, and based on the reviews that they have got. So if you see, the installation is basically the string value, which we may want to change this. So over here, the reason for this is what you're getting is the plus. So what we can do is we can go inside and click on the custom split and say plus is basically the split, and click OK. And what you get is the 10,500,000, but not the plus sign. So what you can do is you can change this to installation and hide this, because then you don't need this height. Then change this to number whole, right? And what you get is the whole number. Right, so let's move on here, and installation is still part of the dimension. So what we will do is convert to measure. So it has come over here. So we'll choose the category and the installation and choose our preferred bar chart over here. And what we can do is we can sort this. So what you have got at the very first, by just looking at it, you will get the top categories where most of the things going on. So like health and fitness, tools, games, social, sports, productivity, video player, so on and so forth. But what I suggest for this type of analysis is that you will take the average of installation. So measure, make it average, and this will going to change the way you look at the data. So again, health and fitness is topping it, but now if you see social has come. Similarly, video players has come. So if we sort again, you will see the various different categories which is coming to us. And then we can always filter the categories. So we can click on the filter. We will say, let's say we want top 10 installation average, click apply and OK, and we will get the top 10 list of the application. If that's what we need for our decision making, then this will be helpful. The next thing we may want to do is the reviews. We will take the impact of reviews. So what we can do is put the reviews on the color, and by default it has taken the sum, but we will going to take the average. If the sum is present, the game is coming as the most reviewed, and by default it takes the sum as the default calculation. You can always change that. So for example, if I just remove this, go to review on this drop down, if I change from default property to aggregation to average, so right now the default property for aggregation is sum, but we can make it average. So we'll click on the average. Now when we will pull this information on the color, it will always take average as the default calculation. So that's a small trick, as well as maybe an interview question as to how you would make the default calculation, especially for the beginner, probably for those people who are 0 to 3 years of experience. But those who have 3+ experience, they must be aware about that. So generally the expectation is not there. However, it can come even for the experienced question people, because generally our tendency is, including me, that we take the average or this sum as a default calculation taken for granted and just change it there, but never take a pain to really look and ask a question as to why this is always taking sum and not the average. So have this thinking and you will go in a long way. Basically question everything what you are seeing and whether there is a way to change this. This way you will make yourself expert in this area, as well as you will pass any interview or any question session that you are having related to the Tableau. Alright, so now clearly parenting is one of the section where you have the 10 million installation and 658. Probably you would have not thought about it when you have started it. Maybe the idea is that you will make some sort of a game or some sort of a business or some sort of a information sort of a website, maybe for news or something. But if you see, nothing is coming over here, and the parenting is the one where it is getting a lot of installation, 10 million plus installation, and a lot of reviews. That means there the people are interacting a lot with the application and providing the reviews and the feedback to those who are creating that. And then second is the video players over there. So this is something an interesting insight, and we can say is app installation, top 10 app installation count, top 10 apps by installations and reviews. Just trying to see what makes sense here. And let's make it Tableau semi-bold and click apply. Okay, and in this case, since this is little darker, we will make this also a little bit darker so that it goes with the flow. So again, we will make sure that we will make it semi-bold, and 10 is fine. And we will just remove this category by right clicking and hiding the label. Top 10 apps, app categories. Yeah, that should be the most relevant one, because what we are showing over here is the category. And similarly, we will format this as well, make it Tableau semi-bold. Should be fine. Yep. So that's one. So we will say, we will just name it categories and maybe fun, showing that this is the first point. Now, since we have formatted this a lot, what we can do is right click and duplicate. Alright, so now what we will going to take is, in the second section, is looking at the apps. Let's say if we are planning to see something related to the parenting as the apps. So what we can do is, we can, first of all, we have these apps. We will show it as a filter. We will click on edit filter. From top 10 we will say none and click OK, and then we will replace the category with the app over here. So once we do that, from here we will choose the parenting as the app, because we know from our previous analysis that parenting is the one where the lot of installation and a lot of reviews have happened. So if you look at, there is just one app which is coming as we have filtered the data, just one app. So definitely not the one that we would like to choose. Second one was, if I remember, is the video games, the video players. So you'll click over here. So yeah, we have got some video players over here. So the highest one is the Samsung and DU recorder, but as we all know, Samsung is probably the reason that it has the, along with this phone, it is being installed a lot. So if I just filter it, however, you will see that reviews are not there. Reviews is basically present here with the DU recorder, and that's where, you know, people are giving more review, but usually they are not looking at Samsung. So we have now the top 10 apps. Let's say if this is the area that we are planning, or there are a couple of other areas, for example social, but social is generally dominated by players like the Facebook or LinkedIn, or like of those like Instagram and those apps. So maybe the another one is health and fitness. Then you have the game. So one can experiment based on their interest area. Let's say our interest area is video player itself, and for the video player we see that a lot of reviews being given to AZ screener and the DU recorder. So this looks like an interesting area, and along with the quick free editor. So these three looks like the one where, you know, a lot of movement is happening and average installation is quite high. And basically you can evaluate all the three different applications, and then maybe you can evaluate their comments and everything by scraping it. However, comment is not part of this. We just have the count of reviews, count of installation, and the rating. But even we can scrap that data and basically get to know what problems users are facing when they are using these apps, and that will be an opportunity for us to develop a new player which is, you know, overcoming or removing all the shortcomings of these video players, and then, you know, giving a better user experience to users and good dollars back to you. So now this is our second point. So we have reached to the second point of the category or story, where we have the top 10 app, and we will say here top 10 we will insert the category. So if we click apply, we will see that top 10 video player app by installation. So installation spelling is wrong, installations, and click apply and OK. And we can, if we try to choose, let's say we add the photography, then we see top 10 photography and video player app. We can uncheck the video player, we will get the videography, the photography application. So let's come back to our video player itself and remove this. I just wanted to show you that having that category present over there make it dynamic, and that becomes a little bit realistic and useful for the end user. So now we have got the top 10 video player players app or apps by installation and reviews. So second is apps. All right. Now here another interesting thing, we can figure it out whether these are the free or the paid. If there is a difference between the free and paid, we may probably create a separate chart, but let's try to bring the type over here. And if you see, all these applications are free. So a very important point for you as a decision maker, whether you want to invest in this area where these are free apps which is being given over here to the users, and probably the earning is by some sort of an investment, or maybe donations from the users, or by running the advertisement on your player. That's something, other areas which opens up to think about how we will going to generate the revenue. So all these applications are free, and then with that conscious decision we move on and try to explore the different areas. Alright, so now we know this information by the reviews and installation. What if we may want to check the ratings, because reviews is just the count of reviews. We don't know whether these are good or bad reviews. So what we can do is we can make it a duplicate to explore little bit. So apps reviews, and then we can call it apps and then ratings. So for this, rating is present over here, and the rating is the, as you can see, is the ABC. That means this is these are the strings. So but if we check the rating over here, this should be numeric. So what we can do is we can from here itself make it number decimal, and we will convert it into a measure, and we change the default properties of aggregation to average and bring it on top of here. So again, if you see, a lot of rating is being given to this, which is the highest one, second highest, and the third highest. That means those which have got the most of the reviews have got most of the high ratings as well. 4.6, 4.7, 4.8. We can ignore probably this one. However, if you see, this has the lower rating as well. So definitely it's coming out that these three are the ones which we should look at first before moving ahead or taking any other area of analysis. Now let's look at the different version, the application version and the Android version they are supporting. So what I'll do is right click and click on duplicate. I'll just make sure that app reviews and installation, and we will change this to ratings. Ratings, click apply. Okay. Over here we are making a change, removing this rating, removing this type, because we know its entire thing is free. We are removing this average installation. What we need is as a dimension of let's say what we need is the Android version. So Android version is present here. Alright, so it supports, all these applications supports 5 and up. So that's an important information for you, that your application should also support at least 5 and up, and their own version is not a very meaningful. However, having an idea goes in a long way to understand, because this is sort of a standard as to which Android it is supporting. This is a standard for application itself. Let's say in case of DO recorder they have 1.7, but if quick free video editor is 4.7, it does not really have any comparison or anything, but just maybe for information perspective we may have this. And then what we can have, maybe just the installation value over here, and that way it will just work as the supporting data point as to how many installation has happened. So we will say top 10 installation apps by installation and comma Android version, and probably we can just remove the current version if this is not making a lot of sense here, at least from my perspective. So once we have these visualization created, we have got a lot of idea as to what needs to be done, what are the areas that we need to work on, and now we can go ahead and create a new story. And the story name, I just double clicked over there, and the story name, we can make it new app this season, or investment ideas for new app development. All right, click OK. And then first thing is we bring over here is this, the different apps, and we can add the caption. Top 10 apps. Well, maybe what I'll do is instead of writing, I'll just double click copy here and put it here in the story. Sorry, not here, but here, top 10, this one, we can make it a little bit larger as well. Top 10 apps by categories by installation and review. Let's create another story point, and this time what we have, top 10 these apps by installation and reviews. So we'll just double click here and we will bring this. But if you see, the category over here does not make a lot of sense, so we may need to remove, and we have to say top 10 apps, top 10 app names by installation and review. And over here we can, let's say, probably give the flexibility that user can select, or maybe what we can do is we can just change this to single value drop down, and yeah, that should be good. So we come here, now it looks way much better, where user can select, let's say, from comics, house and home. You know, this is something for ad hoc for you to if somebody is interested in some other category as part of the discussion. So this is the second point, and then let's create the third one, which is apps rating. So copy this and paste it here. Top 10 apps by installation and ratings. So we will bring it here. Again, we can probably do this. So this is a setting that if we do it at the planning stage is going a long way to put it in a story, and we don't have to do this little bit of extra rework that we are trying to do. The fourth point is, again, we will take it from here, top 10 video players app by installation and Android version. So top 10 apps, and let's bring the fourth one, make sure that it is the single value drop down, and that's it. All right, so we have this. Now we have all the points of the story started. We have this investment idea for the new app development, so we can go here and we start with our discussion as to what are the top 10 categories by the installation and the reviews. So the bar indicate the installation and the color indicate the reviews, and the reviews threshold is given starting from 43,000 reviews to 658,000 reviews, average reviews. So as you can see, average installation, average reviews, and clearly the three areas is basically the video players, or the parenting, or the gaming, or the auto and vehicle. All right, then you think, okay, maybe video player is the area that we want to explore, so you move on to the what are the apps which are active in this area, and what is their installation and the reviews. So you caught the installation as the 50 million installation which is being given to the DU recorder, and you have a lot of different reviews, so definitely it caught your eye or attention. So this quick app and the AZ screen recorder is something where you feel like you have to give an emphasis if you really have to make a decision. Then the third point is you may want to explain is basically the rating. Again, rating is very high for DU recorder, the quick, and to the AZ screen. So definitely from the reviews as well as from the ratings, you are double sure that yes, this makes a lot of sense if you go in this area. And then finally, what Android version. So all the three, DU, quick, and AZ support 5 and up. And they have DU as the 50 million installation, and both Quick and AZ is 10 million. So if this is the decision you need to make sure that you are better than these three applications and giving a better experience to the user if you want your application to receive a lot of positive reviews, a lot of positive ratings, and a lot of installation from the end user. So that's how basically we try to give a direction to the business as to what sort of decision they can make by looking at it. However, we have also given the flexibility if somebody may want to choose a different area altogether by providing this filter. Let's say they may want to look at food and drink, they may want to look at communication, who knows. But this is something as a one single case, and it can be n number of cases with the help of the filter that we can make. Now this is just to give you an idea as to how you will go and start working with the story, but the story does not end here. You may have a different point of view, your colleague may have a different point of view, your management may have a different point of view, and because of all these different thinking, we can have more of a democratic decision around what makes sense, what does not. So don't think that in just one go you will create a story. There will be a lot of iterations. When you will propose something, you will get the feedback, and everybody gets the feedback, and we improve that and then create the story which is most meaningful and most useful by the for the end user perspective. Also think like from the ethical point of view as well, as to, let's say if someone is from in your department is from the video creation application department, they will be really interested because it's around that area. So you may have to also balance it out in a discussion in such a way to really understand whether this is ethically is going in the right direction or not, because data visualization, story, and everything makes a lot of influence, and it should not have the biased into the decision making or the direction, because that probably would not be the most beneficial direction that you or your company may want to take. So that's about how you can create the story. Let me know what other stories you can create with the help of this data which is present in the description, and what sort of things you come out. I'm really interested in seeing your creativity. Mine is just a very basic one, but I'm sure that you have a better creativity than me, and then do something way much better than this and give me some more surprises by sharing your story in the comments. So that's about it, and let's meet in the next video with a new topic.